Yeah, but you can't play it. Are you playing it?
I'm recording right now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Why don't we just Bluetooth this in?
No.
It's over.
Hold on. Here we go.
She says, "Don't be my fault."
Yeah, I know that part.
Well, the reason we're
is.
talking about this is...
Wait. This is when it's raining, and she screams, and her voice is straining. She says, "Baby." What did she say?
It's 3 a.m. on the 24-hour podcast.
This is 3 a.m. on the 24-hour podcast. That's what she says when her voice is straining.
Her voice is straining.
It'll be my fault.
He's so angry on the microphone.
He's on. I saw them live.
Good deal.
With Alanis Morissette. Alanis Morissette was the
legit
opener.
Only started this hour, guys, because
Get
I
the
wanted to
fuck out.
sing the little
She
ditty.
just wanted to. A
But
little
it's
ditty about
fucking
Jack and Diane.
3 a.m. and I'm feeling lonely. I'm tired AF.
Bye.
You feeling lonely with us?
Well,
Get
no.
out.
I know
Okay.
my dogs are at home feeling lonely, though.
Oh, the dogs
got each
And it's
plural are
3.
at
Yeah, they
home.
got each other. That's why you got 2 dogs.
That's true.
Same.
What
Anyway.
about the human children at home? Are they lonely?
They're asleep.
Okay.
They don't know.
Okay. I bet you the dogs are too. I'd be willing to bet you $10.
Oh, well. I don't know. It's very
We're
likely.
the only idiots awake that live in that house.
That's true.
Makes sense.
All
I don't know. Your
Well,
mom
that
is
note-
picking
this
up
is-
vomit with a spatula, so.
Oh, my God.
Gross.
Yeah, one of the dogs vomited in the kitchen the other day.
On
And
the
my
tile.
mother, who was visiting with us, came out and said, "Well, I grabbed a spatula to try to clean it up." I was like, "A what?"
A fucking kitchen cooking utensil. And
She's
she...
like, "Oh, is it, honey? I shed my pants. Where's your crock pot?" Yeah.
Gotta clean it up.
One of the dogs peed. Do you guys have a whisk?
Pretty much, that's exactly what happened.
She just dumps like all your utensils on
Right.
like messes.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, she goes, "Well, what was I supposed to do?" I was like, "How about a paper towel?"
Or a fucking
Would that have been
grocery
a
bag.
revolutionary decision?
Anyway.
Good one. That's what she sounded like.
Dogs.
Oh, dear.
The dogs poop. Just like, well, please don't grab a kitchen utensil.
You got to think outside of the box, Jack.
What about a soup spoon
Ugh, a ladle.
for dog shit?
Nice.
Okay.
Modern
Anyway,
solutions
I'm
for
gonna go.
modern problems.
That's true.
Y'all
All
have
right.
fun. I'll see you
Bye,
in several hours.
Megan.
Yeah.
Thanks
See ya.
for joining us.
Love you, boo.
It's been a pleasure.
So, what was that about last time? Oh, yeah. My Predator video game idea.
Are you okay? We're going to talk about it?
We are going to talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I am a big fan of the Predator franchise.
Right.
A lot of people have some harsh criticisms for which way that franchise has gone.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah, you.
Okay.
Although you haven't had harsh criticisms, but you do like the first one.
I love the first
Yeah.
one.
And the second one, you're like,
Eh.
and the third one, you're like, no.
And then the fourth
And
one.
AVP, you're just like,
No. No.
So, the predator species is called the Yautja, I think it is.
Okay.
And there's a lot of lore behind them. Obviously, the big thing is that they hunt dangerous creatures throughout the universe. That's their shtick, right? Mm-hmm. And they're very tribal. They always have the skulls on them. They kind of look like Indians, I guess, because they are always wearing very limited clothing. They like the hot climate.
I believe the term is Native Americans.
What'd I say?
Jack?
Indians.
Indians.
Okay, I was going to say Native Americans, and I decided to go on living my life.
It's 2020, bro. You can't just live your life
That's
the way
true.
you want to live your life.
Right.
Nope.
Right. Somebody somewhere is going to hear this and
I'd be
cancel culture.
Very
me.
upset.
I mean, you
Anyway.
can't even call Eskimo pies anymore.
They're just cold pies now. I think that's what they're
I
called.
said, we can't even call great white sharks anymore. They're just great sharks.
Yep.
Yeah. Great sharks.
But anyway, so through Predator lore, you dropped your lighter, by the way.
I was going to say, what was that noise?
Through Predator lore, when they are growing up and they start their hunts, they start from easiest to hardest, obviously. So the first part is, the part that's in Predators, where they're on the game planet reserve, and they bring things for them to hunt there.
Right.
As they grow older, they'll show up and try to track the dangerous humans like in Predator 1. And as they go on and so forth, they will hunt aliens as a group, like from the franchise Alien.
Yeah.
And as they get older and older, their prey becomes more and more dangerous. And one of the rites of passage for a predator, for them to be considered an adult and to kind of ascend to that warrior level, is they need to clean out an entire alien hive with a queen by themselves.
Right.
So in that AVP where they're going in and sending people in for aliens to come in, that's a big part of the Predator lore. Those three predators that go in to clear it out, that they're considered like adolescents.
Yeah.
That's why there's 3 of them. So all 3 of them are going in, kind of learning the ropes and blah, blah, blah. So I thought, and the reason I think you would like this a lot is because you're a huge fan of the game Monster Hunter.
Yes, I am.
So I thought a Predator video game centered around you picking your predator and customizing them, because I don't know if you've looked through, any of that. Like NECA is a big toy creator of predators, and they all different kinds of skin color, armor, all kinds of stuff that you could do. There's a lot of customization options.
Yeah.
And they have all the different weapons. For instance, the one in Predator 2 had the spear, and he also had the Destructo disc.
I want the tri-gun.
The one, that's what I was going to say. The one in the first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger had the tri-laser thing.
Yeah.
And the one in AVP had the big freaking swords that came out. Oh. And I thought, you pick your Predator. And every Predator picks what weapon they're going to be good with. What weapon is going to, some of them like the little Destructo disc, some of them like the spear. I personally like the spear. But one of them has a sword, like in Predators.
Yeah,
where they're on the island, or not on the island?
No, the plant. Wasn't it like
the one with Adrian
Planet?
Brody?
Yeah,
one of them has a sword.
Was it Topher Grace?
Yeah, one of them has a sword. So like,
he's a serial killer.
Yeah, he was.
There's all kinds
bad
of
guy.
stuff.
Yeah,
and I thought a Predator game where you could customize your Predator and go to different planets, hunting different game, and ascending your Predator to that top tier level would just be badass. Like with the sense of the Monster Hunter world where you're on your ship and then you say, so like in Predator lore, they'll hunt the humans, they'll hunt the aliens, and there's a multitude of crazy looking creatures in the comic books that you can hunt. Like one of them looks like a big old rhinoceros, and there's certain things like, certain areas of them are impenetrable. So you having to stalk them and pick the right moment and attack the right way, you know what I mean, would be a fun ass game to play.
Now, do you have to kill all the humans?
Yeah. So my thing is, I think it would be cool to have challenges like where, you go into a scenario and you're tracking whatever team it is and you're killing the ones that are armed. And if you kill one that's not armed, in Predator lore, that's considered dishonorable.
Yeah.
Fist fight with Mike Tyson.
There you go.
Predator versus Tyson.
And see, that's what a Predator would do. If they showed up and they knew Tyson was the prey, they would hand-to-hand him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Because you got to look at it. In the movies, every time a predator meets an adversary, if they don't have something equal to what they have, they will downgrade themselves to fight that.
I was going to say, I remember one of them like stripping down once.
Yeah.
That was the first one, right?
Yeah.
First one, yeah.
When he fought Arnold.
Rips off his armor, rips off everything. Yeah. And the one from Predators where the samurai guy has only a sword, Predator drops all his shit. Okay, you got a sword, I got a sword.
Yeah.
You know
Very
what I'm saying?
Honorable.
And that's a big thing with them, with Predators, is having an honorable kill and proving that you were, the better hunter. You were you were admirable. You met your foe at their level and beat them.
Yeah, that is one of the things I've always kind of liked about Predators. Like, they seem like just these crazy aliens.
Yeah,
they like have honor. Like, I just remember the scene, one of my with Danny Glover at the end.
My favorite is Predator 2.
That's
but
the
go
second
ahead.
one, yeah.
Is that the second one?
Yeah, that's my favorite Predator.
At the end, and he does the, I don't remember it like to a T, but like I remember he does the thing where he like gives Danny Glover something or does, and then he walks away or whatever.
Well, so Danny Glover follows that city predator back to his ship and kills him on his own ship, and the predators come out, and that their thing is, you were this predator's quarry, not ours. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, hey, You won. He lost, you won. So they're going to go bury him and do whatever they do, but it's not honorable of them to have 6 of them kill one guy. Yeah. And if Danny Glover had attacked them, for sure, it would have been on. But that's why I think a game like that would be so cool. So, like, let's say you get your Predator and you start out with a little Destructo disc thing that they have. And as you get more kills or you ascend with whatever trials that you have, let's say you throw it and now it bounces to other enemies. You know what I mean?
First off, Jack, I want to say, fuck you. Now, I really want to play this game, and this shit's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing Monster Hunter right now like it's my job. Alateron just came out, and I'm trying to grind up to play him, and I'm like, this sounds fucking awesome. Like, I actually want to play this game
So,
now.
like, that's what I'm saying. So, like, even then, let's say you have the single player aspect. You want to take that out to do your trials or whatever, and your boys get on and they want to play. Let's say your buddy is really good with the shoulder cannon. Your other buddy's good with the spear. And you need all 3 of you to take down one big piece of prey. Yeah. Or let's say you and your buddies are chilling. You want to go take out an alien hive. Boom. Let's go do that.
Like a horde mode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you could also do PvP. You can actually match each other up based upon your skill.
So in that game, in Predator lore, there are predators that will hunt other predators. Now, those predators are ones that have gone rogue or been dishonorable.
I mean, that was the last Predator movie.
So then that Predator movie, that Predator had human DNA in him.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I love about this franchise is they finally explain it. Why do they rip the skulls out other than trophies? Is because they're taking that genetic DNA, the best thing from those creatures, and using that to make them more effective predators. I was like, why is that not the greatest idea they've had so far? And then that AVP predator killer shows up. And he's the one who can change his skin at will to be stone. I was like, that's badass. I would love to have a predator fighting a creature and seeing that aspect of it and saying, oh, this thing can do that. So if I kill it and I get a clean skull or whatever out of it, I can then upgrade my predator to be able to have that kind of feature.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And the dogs to come in, like your alien dogs to come hunt people.
That's another thing. Because they had the dogs and the predator hounds in 2 different movies. They had that in The Last Predators, or The Predator. The Predator.
That was the last one.
Yeah. And they had it in Predators.
Yeah.
Where they were flushing out their game like that.
Yeah. That was funny because I'm probably going to go back and watch all of these things now.
All the Predators.
My absolute favorite is Predator 2. I just love Predator 2 because he has cooler weapons. He has a higher body count. And he's in a more vulnerable situation, and he's still dominating. Because in the jungle, I thought he had the superior advantage. Up in the trees.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
Hiding, in the trees.
And this one, I mean, he was so ballsy and out there, and he ends up paying for it. Obviously, he ends up getting killed. But I thought they flushed out them as a character a lot more. Because there's the time where Danny Glover gets his little Destructo disc and cuts old boy's arm off. He has to go in there and find his little, you know what I mean? He has to use his little trauma kit and try to fix his own arm on the fly. I mean, that to me, I was like, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. I just used to watch the first one and the second one with my grandpa all the time. And his favorite part was when he's like, you are one
ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he used to watch that shit all the time, man.
The one that was like, to me, that was the most kick-ass is when they're visiting that guy, Danny Archuleta, the cop that's in the little penthouse that gets killed. And then they're visiting his grave. And this kid sees the predator. And he's pointing a plastic gun at him. And then the predator analyzes it and is like, it's a plastic gun. It's a little kid. I'm not going to kill him. And the kid says, want some candy? To the predator.
Yeah.
And then he's chasing, I forget his name. Oh, my God. Bill Paxton. He's chasing Bill Paxton on the train. He's doing the active camo, and Bill Paxton doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's already shot him, and it doesn't work. And then the Predator goes, "Want some candy?"
Yeah.
That fucked up voice. I was like, "Oh my god, I would be terrified." And then he picks up the pregnant woman, and he's like, "Oh no,
Nah, I
she's
won't do
pregnant.
it.
Can't
Yep.
kill her."
She's got a little baby inside.
Yep. I was like, man.
Yeah.
So that's the game that I have in my own mind.
Right.
Me being able to customize my Predator to look how he wants, have his mask go how he wants, have his skills be how I want them, and then being able to track big game with my friends, or if you want to do PvP, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, it's just an option, something you can throw out there. You know what I mean? To have the verses,
and you
almost
could do your
you could do
skills
almost
on-
like Trials of the Nine and Destiny.
in Destiny, yeah.
Like the best of the best. Get something to give your Predator that nobody else has, or something
That net that cuts through people.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is how they have developers that a bunch of people, hundreds of people, they pay lots of money, sit in a room, and they give you a Jason ripoff with the Predator. Like this, I thought it was cool, like in Ghost Wildlands when they added the Predator because you're in the jungle. I heard about that and I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. And then I was like, it's hard as fuck to kill the Predator.
It is hard. I had to kill him, and it was impossible.
I didn't play Ghost Recon Wildlands. I bought it the day it came out, but just didn't care for it. And I heard that he was in it. I was like, oh, I want to go do that. But then I heard you had to actually have like a whole squad in order to kill him.
No, you don't. But
Like,
just get ready to revive your squad 80 times.
Yeah.
But they're going to go down, and I'm down. Come get me.
Predator just setting you up for the trap.
Yeah. I got to go to the bathroom here, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Too many Mountain Dews.
We have to drink. I'm actually drinking water right now.
Stairmaster is not a stair or a master. Discuss.
I'm like drinking. Thanks for leaving us with something.
Clint.
Listen,
I think it's both.
Yeah, I agree. What game are you playing right now?
Honestly,
Monster
right now,
Hunter?
just Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Like, well, not just Monster Hunter. I'm also playing Call of Duty.
Okay.
Do a little Call of Duty, then Monster Hunter in between.
I've never played a Monster Hunter game.
See, I hadn't either until this one came out, and they say that the old ones were really slow to start, and it took a whole lot to kind of get into the action and actually get going.
Right.
With this one, they actually, pretty much from jump, it's go. And it's
action.
It's fun. He's the one who actually got me into it. I saw it. I was like, oh, that looks fun. I might play it. And then I saw him playing it one day, and he's like, bro, you got to get this game. So I bought it and started playing it. Fell in love with it like instantly.
That's awesome.
Got a lot of stuff in it that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's open world and stuff, right?
Not really open world. You have a map that you can go to different places and run around inside of that like it's an open world.
Okay.
It's almost like contained. Like you go to there's a forest region, then there's a desert, and then you have a like an ice, and then volcanic. Like you go to different regions to hunt different monsters.
Xenoblade Chronicles was kind of like that. Like I don't know if you ever played that game.
No, actually interested in it on the Switch. Very
it just came out like the definitive edition. It's actually like a pretty fun game. It's just a JRPG. I've been getting into RPGs more, and yeah, it's kind of like that. Like there's different. You can like once you start visiting all these like different lands and stuff, you can like go back and go through each one, and each one has like a big open area that you can explore, but like there's like the plains, and then there's like a desert and water
it sounds
region,
almost just
stuff.
like Monster Hunter.
So that's pretty cool. I like that actually better than the open world games because like I still feel like it's narrow enough that I know where I'm going and I can do side quests if I want, but I can keep going through it. Whereas like open world games, sometimes it's just like they just throw a lot at you, and then there's just so much you can do, and I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do right now.
You gotta know what you want to do and kind of pace yourself. Like me, I don't really care too much for some of the side stuff unless it gives me something or there's a reason to do it.
Right.
More so just streamline straight through.
That's what nowadays, because I don't have like a ton of time to play games, I've been playing like a lot of just story games and just kind of trying to get from A to B. It's just kind of, I don't really play online anymore. I used to back in the day, but I got out of it. I don't know. I just like my story games.
See, I'm the opposite. I like rather play multiplayer and play something with someone else rather than play by myself. I don't like being lonely.
You don't want to listen. You're not lonely if you like the characters and you pretend you're there with them.
I guess so. I guess so.
I'm just saying. I played The Last of Us, and I was there. I was like, I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys all the way,
to the end.
Yep. And I felt like I knew them personally, and they were my friends throughout, even when all of the characters started dying.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Spoiler. I'm just kidding. Not all of them die.
Yeah.
Just some.
Honestly, I keep saying I'm going to play The Last of Us. I've been saying that
You didn't play the first one, right?
7 years.
Yeah.
No.
First one's...
Never played it. Keep hearing it's an awesome game. It's an awesome game.
People hate this new one,
I just haven't. And then, I hear mixed reviews. I hear a lot of people like it.
I love
doing things that a lot of other games aren't doing.
I've never like cried or teared up at a video game before until this game.
What?
Yeah. So it's like the first one that actually made me feel emotional. I'm like, wow. Like even the first one, like there's some parts that are like sweet and stuff, but it's like it didn't make me like tear up. This one I was like, wow, this one got me. And it's the way they told the story. I was like, it's so ambitious, and they really took a gamble, but they were like, fuck it, we're gonna put this out, and we're just gonna hope that people understand what we're trying to do. And that's what they did, and I respect it. And I understand why people hate it, but I'm also like, I don't give a shit because I think it's one of the best games I've ever played, and I actually like it better than the first one now. I played through it twice.
Oh,
and
right. You've already played through it twice?
I played through it twice.
You're a manimal.
I love it.
I heard you talking about video games that made you cry.
Yeah, that's the first one that actually made me cry, was Last of Us 2.
There's only one video game that's ever made me actually cry and actual like tear. Me like, oh god,
like, ooh, what is
get
this?
rid of this
Salty Discharge.
And that was Gears of War 3.
Gears of War 3.
Yeah.
And that was...
Sounds a little silly.
Right.
I don't want to... Gears of War 3 has been out for a long time. I don't feel like there would be any spoilers.
Yeah.
But in Gears of War 1, you play Marcus Phoenix through Gears 1 and 3. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And with you, throughout this entire journey, the first person you ever see when you're getting out of jail in Gears 1 is Dominic Santiago. You go through an emotional roller coaster with Dom. Mm-hmm. Game 1, you trying to help, win this whole scenario, and it's you and Dom. Even when it's a bad idea and things are really stupid, Dom's like, let's go, man. The second game, you're getting in. Dom hears that his wife has been kidnapped by the Locust, and she's in this camp where, you know what I mean? Like, the Locust just run people till their skin and bones and they're dead. Mm-hmm. And Dom's like, listen, I've helped you through everything you've ever done. I'm going to go find my wife. You're coming with me. Or, you don't have to come with me. And Marcus is like, say no more. We're going.
Yeah.
And you as a player are like, fuck yeah, we're going to go get your wife. Yeah. Let's go. You go with him. You go through some serious personal stuff for Dom where you end up finding her and she's like really downtrodden, and he ends up killing her because she's like no quality of life.
Yeah,
she's basically a shell.
Yeah.
And you feel for Dom in that moment. You're like, oh my God, man. Imagine fighting for so long and this enemy is just taking everything from you, right?
Yeah.
So in Gears 3, Dom is always clean cut. He's got his, gold earrings going. He's always ready to rock and roll. You see Dom in Gears 3 and he's just like growing his hair out. He doesn't give a shit. All he cares about is growing his little radishes, and everything you want to do, he's like, all right, man. You can tell he's done.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a point in that game where your backs are up against the wall. You're in a really insurmountable situation, and Dom's like, I got an idea. I got this. And you're like, no, Dom, you don't got this. You don't got an idea. Come back. And he sacrifices himself to save you.
Oh, man.
And
nice.
and like me, I'm just like, not gonna no, man, sorry. And Sean, who I'd played through all these games with forever, plays as Dom. And so he's like, oh no.
Just like, no.
And then like after that cutscene, he's having to play as some other character on the team.
Right.
And he's like, we had to take a break. I was like, let's pause this and go grab a drink and relax.
Do something.
Yeah.
But that was one where I was like, make tears come out of my face.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool because video games are now starting to get to that point where like stories are like really important.
Yeah.
Whereas like back in the day, like old games don't really have stories, but now they're getting to the point where like they are like for a medium, like they're starting to have like really in-depth story writing and all that kind of stuff, which I like personally because that's my favorite thing about anything, whether it's comics, TV shows, movies. Like I like story and character the most.
Yeah, and character development and being invested in what you're doing. Yeah.
Which is why I don't understand why people hate The Last of Us 2. I just don't get it.
I don't know. I can't remember if I've cried. I'm pretty sure I might have shed a tear or something, but if I would have made it to the part in Destiny 2 where Cade 6 died, I probably would have teared up, bro. He was super funny. I actually started to watch the clip when he has the ace of spades in his hands, and I'm like, nah, I can't do it, man. Can't do it. And then I still have every intention of going back to Destiny 2 and just getting vengeance for him and then stopping.
Yeah. But yeah, that years after that, it's you kind of like as a character, you're so emotionally invested. You've had this person with you that whole time, and then it's like, well, let's move on without him. And every part of that game where other characters come out, you go, hey, where's Dom? You're just like, fuck you, man.
Like I don't want to talk about.
That's where Dom is. Fuck you.
Yeah. No, I like the storytelling aspect of.
I cried a lot in NBA Jam too.
Yeah, NBA Jam is pretty sad.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. I shed some tears with my last Madden squad, bro. That draft was serious.
Is there a movie that's made you cry like recently? Not recently, but like within.
I cried at Braveheart.
Okay.
When they killed his wife.
Okay. It's been a long time.
And not when they killed his wife. Not when they killed his wife. When he's coming back and he's on the horse and he's just looking at him like this. And I'll say this, ever since I've had my boys, shit'll make me cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
When it's stuff happening to kids.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like.
Kids and animals, man. That's how like movies try
animals,
to go for
I'm
people.
like, that sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
See, but animals is like, a lot of screenwriting books say like, I think it was like Blake Snyder's Save the Cat. That was like, if you really want to make a villain that's memorable, that people absolutely hate, have them kill a child or a dog within the first 20 minutes of your movie.
And it doesn't take long for a guy to dig up all his guns.
Right.
And then murder an entire city.
Exactly.
Because you killed his fucking beagle.
Yeah. That's the whole point is because, and people are for it. They're like, yeah.
Kill him.
I will say, okay, and I don't want to keep talking about this, but Last of Us 2, really quick. The reason why I think it's a good game is it's the first game where it makes you play, that I've ever played, where it makes you play as kind of the villain. Like there's like a big moment in the beginning that something happens and you're like pissed off and there's this villain character. Halfway through the game switches and you got to play as that villain character, but it gives you a perspective from their point of view and you realize they're really not that bad. They did this one bad thing, but they're actually a pretty good person. It's just there's kind of how Game of Thrones does with a lot of their villains and stuff. There are some of the villains in Game of Thrones where they're like, they're not really villains. They're just, they have a different point of view about this scenario.
Yeah.
So you kind of sympathize or empathize with them and stuff.
And it's funny because I listened to another podcast and Kind of Funny Games, and the guy was at the end. He actually talked to the creator or writer Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, Druckmann.
And he was like, he's like, I finished Last of Us. He's like, I call him. He goes, I'm the fucking bad guy. And Neil told him, he's like, if that's the way you interpret it, it's all meant to be how you see it. So in that second game, it's kind of the same thing. You're not necessarily the bad guy, not necessarily a good guy. Just all depends on what you would do in that situation.
It's a matter of perspective.
And I think, and I've never like really had that with a game where I actually ended up liking the character, which was Laura Bailey's character, where I was like, she's actually a pretty cool character, but everybody is still holding on to like that hate because of the one thing she did that they just don't agree with. And then they see all this other stuff and they're like, oh, I don't care. And it's like,
that's very indicative of today's society.
It exactly. is. And that's why the review bombing and cancel culture, all that stuff I hate, because it's like, if you don't like something, no one, like, especially when it's just like a movie or a TV show, like, you don't have to watch it. Yeah. There is so much content nowadays that if you don't like The Office, don't watch The Office. Yeah. Watch something else.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
But here's the thing.
And you were trying to get it canceled, right?
Why can you be that upset because the story didn't go the way you thought it did?
Right. It's not. You're not the writer.
You wanted it to go. It's not your story.
Listen, I hated the last season of Game of Thrones. Hated it.
Me too.
Thought it was horrible. I thought the way they wrote it,
Yep.
you could tell that they just wanted to be done with the show.
Yep.
That to me was bad writing. It wasn't like characters. Like it wasn't like I didn't agree with the characters. It was just like none of the writing seems right. But again, I'm not sending death threats to the writers.
No.
I'm not fucking tweeting a bunch of stuff every day, being pissed off. Like
I am. Jack said Indian earlier. Hashtag cancel 24-hour podcast.
See? That's what I'm saying is I hate the cancel culture. I really hate it.
Yeah.
I understand that there are some things that like I'm all for the open-mindedness of being like you want to be inclusive for everybody. I understand that, and I think it comes from a good place. It's just like the Me Too movement. Not to get political, but like I think that comes from a good place. But I think it gets to a point where it goes a little too far, and all of a sudden you're ruining Johnny Depp's life because Amber Heard said he did all this stuff, and now you're finding out that Amber Heard lied about all of it, and look at now Johnny Depp's like he was fired from the Pirates movies. Disney didn't want to work with him anymore. Like he ruined his life because everybody jumped on the bandwagon and just said, "She said you're a bad person. We believe you're a bad person now." It's like.
Well, no. I don't think it's.
innocent.
Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing: it's not. She says you're a bad person, so we think you're a bad person. It's she says you're a bad person, and we're too afraid to ask clarifying questions
because they don't want to know
all the details.
But they don't want to know.
We don't want to. We're going to avoid all the bad press, so we're just going to cut ties and. We will be the good guy for cutting ties with you, even if it turns out to not be true.
But that's what's scary is because like literally anything you say right now on this podcast, if somebody doesn't like it and they tweet it and other people are like, yeah, that's bad. They tweet about it. Then all of a sudden your career in a podcast is like done.
And nobody's going to go through and listen to all 24 hours and go, oh,
no, context doesn't get, they don't care about context. That's why when people were jumping on The Last of Us 2 because leaks came out and they're like, I don't want to play as a trans woman. I'm like, you don't play as a trans woman. Like that was just what people assume. But even if you did, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
If it's a good character, just play as the character. And if you don't like it, don't play it.
Right.
Exactly. But people were review bombing it before the game even came out, giving it zeros and shit. I'm like, you guys haven't even played the game.
Yeah.
Like, how do you judge something like that without having any kind of knowledge of the situation? But the cancel culture with James Gunn, firing James Gunn because of 7-year-old tweets that came. I'm like,
and they're probably taken out of context because you can't see a thread. It's ridiculous. Like
it's scary. That's the kind of stuff that like is really scary, especially because I love art and like entertainment like a lot, and it's getting to the point where I'm like. I like old movies, and now old movies are starting to get canceled because of
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, and I'm like people like it sucks. Like I understand what the issues are, but like you gotta like see it as a product of its time and how we've grown as a society from that time.
Exactly.
And I think there are like artistic works that like I don't agree with them. Like just like old books and stuff like that. Yeah, some of them are written by like racists and shit like that, and it sucks. But if you read that stuff, then you can kind of see like, oh, we don't want to go to that point again. Like, I don't know. I just, as an artistic work, it gets scary because sometimes people are trying to cancel stuff that to me is like, it's not even a big deal. Yeah. Like, just because you don't like the story or because something's like just a little bit offensive to somebody.
Yeah.
Like I like Married with Children. That shit's going to get canceled soon.
Yep.
100%. They make fun of fat people. They make fun of women. They make fun of men. Like they make fun of like everybody.
Hey, don't you forget this, but Al Bundy scored the game-winning touchdown.
4 touchdowns in a single game, man. Dude, I wear a Bundy t-shirt, and whenever I wear that t-shirt, one guy will at least be like, Bundy, how many touchdowns? I'm like, 4 in a single game. That happened to me at Universal Studios. I was walking through and the security guy was like, Bundy! And I was like, oh shit, I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's one man that I like see myself. Like before I didn't get him too much as a kid and it was just funny.
Right.
Now I'm like, yo, I get this dude.
Yeah.
On the couch, hand in my pants. baby, you want to do this? Leave me alone, woman.
But the funny
Go
thing
away.
about it is because it's so exaggerated of like what married life is.
Right.
It's not. It's just making fun of that. Like the whole point of his job was like you have the worst job imaginable. You're a shoe salesman. And it's like that's not the worst job, but it's just like that was his thing. They always made fun of him for being a shoe salesman. But like if somebody's a shoe salesman now, are they going to be like, well, that's offensive? Like I enjoy my job.
I'm a shoe
and stuff.
salesman. I make a good living.
And then get canceled on like
at
that's
the
the kind of
Foot
stuff I'm scared. yeah. Come on, man. It's a reasonable job.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like that kind of stuff is,
Then in that case, you might as well nobody do anything ever because somebody's not going to like it.
Yeah,
Try to make everybody happy.
Well, Bill Burr has said that kind of stuff, like in the sense of, well, a lot of comedians now won't even play like college campuses.
Yeah.
Because college campuses are very like, that's where a lot of the cancer culture comes from, is like the younger people and stuff, and the younger generations. So they don't want to do that because even Jerry Seinfeld's like, I'm not doing it anymore. He's
Jason Chappelle.
Jerry
doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle. But that's the thing is Dave Chappelle
Those are very few
jokes.
exceptions that can get through stuff like that unscathed. Chappelle being one of them, and another one is Bill Burr. Bill Burr who embraces it. No, I'm not pandering to this. Those
I love
folks,
his joke where he was like, Bryan Cranston played a paraplegic in a movie and he got shit because they said, why wouldn't you cast a real paraplegic and take like another job away from them or whatever? Like they could have had that. And he's like, because it's called acting, you fucks. Like it's acting.
Yeah.
If they got a paraplegic to play a paraplegic, they're not acting.
Yeah.
It's like, it kind of makes
so
sense.
getting canceled.
He's got another good one where he's talking about watching movies with his wife, and there's no excuse to hit a woman. He's like, really?
None?
He's like, so I come home, she's banging the mailman, I gotta pay her alimony, sleep on a futon, and get a divorce, and she gets the house. He's like, no reason.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not even that. Like, of course, people say there's no excuse. What if you come home and she's murdered your children? How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, when the firemen come through, they sift through the debris to try to see what happened.
They want to say, where's the oily rag? Oh, did this start the fire?
Yeah.
Well, that's, I think the biggest thing is now people want to deal in absolutes.
Yeah.
Like you're either, if you don't agree with this, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like literally every situation is different.
Yep.
And you can have like an overall, like even Bill Burr says like, yeah, maybe 87% of women are telling the truth, especially like with the Me Too movement and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean believe all women, because some could just try to ruin someone's life because of something else, or because like, whatever it is, like with the Johnny Depp kind of stuff. So
Justin Bieber, that just happened to him.
Chris Hardwick, it happened to Chris Hardwick. He got canceled. They fired him off of AMC, the Talking Dead show, because Chloe Dykstra, his ex-girlfriend, said that he was like controlling and wouldn't let her drink anymore and all this stuff. Then he like shared all of the texts, and people found out that she was trying to get back together with him, that she actually cheated on him because she got drunk and like cheated on him, and that's why he didn't want her to drink anymore and like see anybody. And she's like, well, he wouldn't let me drink, he wouldn't let me talk to guys anymore. It's like, yeah, you cheated on the like dude when you were drunk, and you were probably like I think she was like violent, like just other stuff. And it's like, I don't know if that's necessarily like controlling. Plus, once he broke up with you, you were still trying to get him back.
What are you talking about, bro? He's out of control
It's so
for actually wanting to have
a healthy relationship. Like, why does he have to
treat him
drink?
like a real?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, like, to me, it's like, but nobody asked any questions. AMC just fired him right after that story came out. And then now they try to like rehire him back. If I was him, I'd be like, no, screw you. Like, I don't want to come back.
Are you adding a zero to that paycheck?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I will as soon as the public apology airs.
But I'm not saying like not to believe. Like, I think you should believe somebody if they come forward as a victim. Like, just say like, okay, we're going to investigate this.
Exactly.
Take it seriously.
I say you should at least investigate.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Like on Twitter.
Because most of those guys, if they are innocent, are going to be forthcoming. They're going to want to talk about, because, I don't have that problem. So the police go, hey, we've heard this. Like, do whatever you need to do. Investigate what you need to investigate. I'm happy to cooperate with whatever you want.
And that was the Biebs. Chick tried to say he raped her.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
At a show.
And
it's
that's scary.
I have a receipt. I was with my girlfriend, Selena Gomez. There's a bunch of paparazzi, this and that. Here you go.
Right.
I'm cooperating with the police. No problem. Dude, the bitch is lying.
I dated a psycho girl, and literally one night
She's a big fan of the show, by the way.
I
Thank you so
don't
much
even
for-
care if she listens. I won't mention any names, but I dated a psycho girl. She got really drunk one time. I got pissed because she told me she wasn't going to drink anymore because she would get crazy. And I was like, listen, if you want to drink, be single. I just don't want to deal with it. She's like, oh, like, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm done. We went out. She's like, let's just get one beer. I'm like, I don't want to get one beer. Let's just get one beer. And then she starts fighting with me. She goes, has a beer. Then she starts doing shot. Then she starts like doing other. I'm like, I'm done with this. Like, this is going to get crazy. Literally that night, she gets mad. I drive her home. I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't like how you are. She gets in the house, starts throwing my shit, breaking stuff, starts hitting me, all this kind of stuff. Takes a knife, goes into the bathroom, says she's going to kill herself. I'm like, oh my God. And I said, open the door, drop the knife, and I'm driving you to your parents' house. Like this, we're done for tonight. And she wouldn't open the door. She wouldn't answer me. So I go, if you don't open the door, I'm calling the cops. Like I don't want to deal with this because I don't even know if you're going to stab me or some shit.
Yeah.
So finally, she doesn't answer. I call the cops. Cops show up. The first words out of her mouth when they go like, what's going on here? She goes, he hit me. That was like her first thing. So I'm like, fuck. Like I did not no, I didn't do it. And my first thing was like, listen, I didn't do it. He goes, stop, go wait by my car. I'm just going to talk to her for a minute. So I'm like, fuck. I'm like, if I get arrested because of this motherfucker. So I go over to the cop car. I'm just standing there. He comes over, like another cop shows up. They talk to her. She's completely drunk though and plastered and just screaming and stuff. The other cop comes up to me and he's like, listen, I talked to her. Obviously, she's super drunk. She's going through some shit. They're like, we're actually going to Baker Act her. And I go, holy shit. I'm like, do what you got to do. Like, I really don't give a shit at this point. So then they Baker Acted her there. But at that moment, I'm like, because she said that, like, it fucking was like a sinking feeling. Because I'm like, I don't want to get arrested because she just straight up lied. Straight up lied.
And it happens all the time in those situations.
And that's the kind of scary stuff that I think, like, I agree with the whole believe women and like, you know, or just victims in general, whoever it is, and believe them, but try to find the facts first before you try to ruin the other person's life.
Sometimes you don't get that opportunity nowadays, like the Central Park Karen, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Doing
Yeah,
nothing
for
wrong.
Sure. It doesn't matter. Yeah, she just
Dogs off the leash. Like, and they do it, and it happens a lot, but that's crazy.
It's scary. It's scary right now. All right. It's 4 a.m.
It is.
So should we wrap up this up?
4 a.m.
I must be lonely.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
Did Rob Thomas sing a 4 a.m.
We'll
song?
put a cap on this one and
ended on a downer.
yeah. I was like, whoa, man.
This
That's
is
like
getting
a left
dark.
turn.
I don't give a shit.
Oh,
all right.
Wow. Well, bye, everyone. See you next week.
Yeah. Well, see you guys next time. Thanks, Rob, for joining us.
No problem, man.
This has been a 7 Lamb production.